Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldo Grim here and welcome to yet another top 10 video. Today we're going to take a look at the top 10 easiest characters to play. Keep in mind that when I'm doing this list I will have into consideration the following things. First of all, none of the characters in this list can be bad. Like all the characters I've picked in this list are above average or great characters, because I can't recommend characters that are easy but they are not good in the game, because if a character is not good in the game, the fact that he is easy to play is simply useless. Secondly, I will not rank them on how good they perform, but on how easy they are. And what I understand by easy. In order for a character to be easy, it has to have the following things: easy to use abilities, fluid basic combos, and on top of that he has to have maybe some redeeming factor that will try to limit your failure. Like a character that is easy to play will be able to fix your mistakes for you, so if you make a mistake, that character will be able to somehow get back on track and help you get back on track with it. This is all that I will keep in mind for this list, and those are characters that I recommend for beginners, because as a beginner of course you will need to learn how to use more complicated characters, but those 10 characters are very good characters to learn the basis of the game on. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and ask me absolutely any question down in the comments, because I read all comments and I will answer all your questions. And also keep in mind that this is my personal opinion, so if you got a different opinion, let me know down in the comments. Without further ado, let's get into the list. Coming in at number 10, we have Predator Batman. And over here it's also worth mentioning Silver Batman, because Silver Batman more or less acts like Predator Batman, but the downside with Silver Batman is that he doesn't have armor piercing on the special one and he has a different passive. But getting into Predator Batman, why is he good for a beginner? Well, because first of all he's got armor piercing on his first ability, and also he's got the disable of opponent's abilities. Armor piercing means that you will be able to deal damage to an opponent even if he has armor, and you will ignore that armor, and on top of that you will disable his abilities for a while. That means for the time that his abilities are disabled, he will not be able to use them. He's also got a stun bump on his special 2 that will deal damage and place a bomb on the ground that will stun the enemy. This skill, for example, can switch to the next opponent if you kill from the first attack of it your current opponent, and the next one gets tagged out, the other one will fall on the bump and will get stunned, and that's very useful. And the grapple kick is one of the easiest damage dealing abilities to use in raids. The only thing you are going to need to do to use Predator Batman in raids is to know to do your taggings correctly. And he is a very good damage dealer, not the best by far, but a pretty good damage dealer. And his passive works well in the arena, because he deals a percentage of the enemy's HP when he tags in. His combos are fluid and you can get real good combos with the stun bomb, and the first ability will help you get through armor. And he's also easy enough to acquire, all you need to do is to buy him from the arena shop. And for all those reasons, Predator Batman, he's at number 10. He didn't score higher on this list because even though he's pretty easy to play, it will still require some game knowledge and it will take some time to master him on one hand, and on the other hand, he doesn't really have a redeeming factor in case you screw up, as other characters on this list will have. Coming in at number 9, we have Flora Poison Ivy, and I think this is a very easy character to play because of two things. First of all, she's got her Vine Drill, which is armor piercing, which is always great to have, and on top of that, you can cast this from anywhere on the map. Like, let's say you are at the furthest distance from your opponent, you will cast it, it will come down from the ground beneath him and hit him. So there's basically no way to miss this ability. This is the first part, and the second part of it is Poisonous Vines. This disables the movement of your opponent and damages him over time every time you cast your second or third ability. And how you're gonna play Flora Poison Ivy? Well, you are going to just swipe back, sit back and spam your Vine Drill, and this way you will keep damaging your opponents and they will have no way to get close towards you. And by the way, this character is right now at the time that I'm posting the video in the hero chest, so you might want to grab her up. She'll make it higher on this list because she doesn't have the best combo attacks, so if you will need to do basic hits, but most of the time you won't, but if you do, you will have a harder time chaining your basic hits. And on the other hand, she as well doesn't have a really good redeeming factor in case you screw up. Another easy to play character that we are going to take a look at is Atrocitus. And why do I consider Atrocitus an easy to play character? Well, because of many things. First of all, his passive is very good because all the effects that it gives are going to be very beneficial to your team. You are going to be able to get to steal 3 power bars or get Lethal Chance for 9 seconds or Reflect for 12 seconds. What we are going to take a look at is the Steal power bar because this will help you cast skills and will prevent damage from your enemy when you steal the power bars. And at the same time you got a reflect shield, and in case you screw up something, in those 12 seconds the enemy will get damaged as well as you do. And on the other hand, his first ability is going to enable you to do a dot on the ground, and this even if blocked by the enemy will continue to damage him, so this does not really require good game knowledge and you can cast it into the enemy while he's blocking. And the second ability as well, even if blocked, will do pretty efficiently because it's a tornado of dot damage that will follow the enemy around. All this being considered, he makes it only to number 8 on this list because first of all, it's gonna be a while until you get him because he is in the league store, but he's definitely not the first, not the second, and maybe not even the third priority that you wanna get, and he's expensive with the same cost of King of Atlantis Aquaman. And on the other hand, he's a very great character, but I couldn't get him higher on this list. Coming in at number 7, we have Blade Master Robin. And why is Blade Master Robin great? Well, because of his passive Perfect Sun. He is able to start his combo at 7 hits. So what does this mean? If you are a new player, you are going to screw up sometimes the combos, and if you don't play very well, this will happen often. So this guy is going to restart your combo from 7 hits. So he will delete 7 hits of failure that you didn't manage to land. And for this reason and for the reason that he's got very fluid basics, and you will unlock him by farming the heroic last chapter. For those reasons, he is all the way to a level 7 to number 7 on this. On this list, I think he is the least well performing character, but nevertheless a decent character and a very easy to use character. Coming in at number 6, we have Greed. And Greed is going to perform well for you as a beginner and is going to be an easy to play character for those reasons. Because first of all, he is working on the cyborg attack pattern, and all the cyborg attack patterns are, well, what I mean by this, his attacks are very smooth and his combos are very easy to chain. Cyborg has one of the best combos in the entire game and the most fluid attacks, and this is certainly a very good point towards him. And the second point is the fact that first of all, he's immune to power drain, so that means that if you are going to get power drain normally, this guy will ignore this. And on the other hand, he's going to gain a shield if you receive a very big amount of damage by basic hits in a very short period of time. This is going to enable you to shield yourself and is going to basically erase one of your mistakes. So this guy is easy to play because he's got easy to chain combos and a passive that is going to prevent mistakes. He didn't score higher on this list because from now on all the characters on this list will be as well going to be very great at something. He's a decent character, he's an easy character, he's a good tank, but he is not the best. But nevertheless, you should play him because he is easy to play. Coming in at number 5, we have Speed Force the Flash. And this character is a treat to play. First of all, because he's a Flash character and he works on the Flash character's attack pattern that is, again, a very good attack pattern. So you will have very smooth swipe attacks and very smooth combos. And oh boy, are we talking about swipe attacks. His passive, called Lightning Fast Reflexes, on top of giving 30% fast attack chance for him and his teammates, will make you ignore damage when doing rush attack and evade attacks. And for this reason, you will, even if you don't know how to play the game, you will by mistake avoid a lot of damage because of this passive. And don't get me wrong, this character in particular is pretty hard to master, and I've seen people take him at very high lengths with this damage dodge potential, but even if you don't master him, you are going to have a very easy time playing him because of his passive, because of the fact that you are able to avoid damage, and because of the fact that you are able to build combo faster. This is why he is so high on this list, because of his smooth combos and because he can fix your mistakes with his passive. He didn't score higher on this list because the characters that we are going to talk about from now on can either perform extremely well for you or simply give you a restart to the match, in theory, not literally starting the match, but can give you a second chance if you totally screw up. Coming in at number 4, we have Silver Cyborg. And why is this character amazing? Well, first of all, he's got the Cyborg attack pattern, and as I said before, this is a very good attack pattern in the game. You will be able to chain combos, swipe right and swipe left very easily, and you will not have any trouble as a beginner doing combos with him. On the other hand, his abilities are nothing really to be amazed by, except of the fact that he's got a power drain on his special one, but what we are looking at right now is the regeneration passive. He gives 10% health for your team, which is great but not amazing, but he regenerates 2% of his health per second for every single second he is tagged out of the fight. So what does this mean? It means that you are going to play this character and you are going to monumentally screw up, and then you're going to take him out with a sliver of health. You are going to use your other characters for a while, and then after you are going to put him back into the fight, he will perform extremely well for you because he will be full health, and then you can tag him out again. Look, his regeneration is 2% of his health per second. So let's say you tag him out with 10% health left. No, 20% health left. You tag him out with 20% health left. And he needs to stay 40 seconds out of combat in order to get to full HP. And the match can take all the way to 2 or 3 minutes. So because of this character doesn't have only 1 bar of health. He can have up to 3 bars of health per match if you use him correctly or if you use him incorrectly and you get damaged. So this guy is so high on this list because he has maybe the most obvious if you screw up button that you can press. You play him, you get completely destroyed, you tag him out, and then you got a second chance. Coming in at number 3 on this list is Silver Superman. And this guy is going to perform amazingly for you, and he's a silver character, so he's easy to obtain and easy to farm. Why is going to perform very well for you? Because first of all, he's got maybe one of the best animation on the swipe attacks, and his swipe attacks connect instantly and at pretty long range. Secondly, his passive, that is invulnerable, gives 10% defense to your whole team, which is great, but again, not extremely amazing. But he's got a 50% chance to ignore incoming basic swipe and tag in attacks. So what does this mean? This means that if you screw up and the enemy is starting to do a combo on you and is starting to hit you, he will fail himself that combo and you got a second chance to try to hit him. If that doesn't go well, you get a third chance, a fourth chance, and a fifth chance. And because he is dodging so many of the attacks, he's also not going to take that much damage. And this works only against basic attacks, right? But what if the enemy casts an ability? Well, as a beginner and as an unexperienced player, you will not be able to block every single ability, but with Superman you can, because he's got the super block. And the super block can be activated even if you don't activate it from the beginning of the damage that the enemy is doing. So let's say you're fighting an enemy that has a longer ability that, let's say, takes 3 seconds to do its animation. You will get damaged by the first part of it, but then you can instantly press super block and mitigate that damage and repair your mistake. So Superman made it so high on this list because he simply does not let you die. He is going to tank for you and he is going to make the enemy play even worse than you. Coming in at number 2, we have Emerald Green Lantern. So first of all, he's a Green Lantern, and all the Green Lantern attack patterns are extremely good. Well, maybe except... no, actually, I've thought of it again, all of them are really good. He's got very fluid attacks, very fluid chaining, and you will have absolutely no problem while performing combos with him. His passive for the Lantern Corps gives some bonuses that are not so relevant as, for example, Atrocitus' bonuses, but on the other hand, what makes him a great character is one single ability, which is Willpower. When you cast Willpower, you will get reduced incoming damage for a pretty decent duration. And if you pair him up with, let's say, Dr. Fate, you can have this duration infinite. And you can just play all the match shielded with a minus 90% incoming damage. And this is simply insane. And on the other hand, with Willpower, you are able to continue your combo after you use it. So you hit the enemy with a full combo, you use Willpower, and then you are going to keep hitting him. He made it so high on this list because his second ability is ridiculous and he can take absurd amounts of damage without flinching. And on top of that, he is easily farmable from the campaign. And coming in at number 1, ladies and gentlemen, I present you Atlantean Armor Aquaman. And this is the most easy to play character in the entire game because it's quite impressive if you manage to lose with him. Because first of all, you've got the Aquaman attack pattern, which is a very good attack pattern, one of the most fluid combos in all the game, and he's got very high reach on his basic attacks, so even if you don't know how to position correctly against your opponent, your attacks still have a higher chance to hit than his. Secondly, his first passive is armor piercing, his second passive has power drain, and also leaves a dot on the ground that is going to power drain your enemy constantly. And only for those reasons he is good, but his passive is the water bearer. And what does this passive do? Well, this passive is going to heal him and his team every single time he casts an ability. And this is simply broken in terms of how easy he is to play. So what happens? The only way to lose as him is if you get one-shotted by something. A one-shot means that you get killed in one single hit by your enemy. If you don't manage to get killed in one single hit by your enemy, even if you are really low on health, you can just cast an ability and then keep fighting or tag out, because guess what? He regenerates health while he's tagged out as well from his passive. So every single time you cast an ability, not only you but your whole team will be healed. And this doesn't only fix mistakes that you did with him, but mistakes that you did with the rest of the team. And on top of that, you can use his second ability, because every single of his abilities trigger the passive. You can spam your second ability, and how will that go? Well, basically you will constantly power drain your opponent while healing yourself. And this gives your opponents literally nothing to do against you, and that's why Atlantean Armor Aquaman is one of the easiest characters to play in this game. Actually, the easiest character to play in this game, in my opinion. And a very good thing about him also is that you can also farm him from the campaign very early, and also get his gears from the campaign pretty early. So if you don't have him yet, I recommend you start farming him as well as Emerald Green Lantern as soon as possible. If you made it all the way to the end, I want to thank you for watching very much. You are a champ, and make sure to let me know down in the comments if this top 10 was helpful to you, and also make sure if you agree or disagree with me. This is based on my personal opinion and my game knowledge, so if you have an objection to this list, let's discuss it down in the comments. Also, if you did like what you see, I encourage you to subscribe, as I do daily uploads with Injustice 2 top 5s, top 10s, builds and guides. And also I have news updates every single time the arena changes. With all that being said, I'll see you in the next one.